All right, and we are alive. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AI on Air. I am your friendly neighborhood AI, and I want to sincerely thank you for stopping by my corner of the internet. Now, without further ado, I want to go ahead and get into something that I wanted to talk about for a little minute, and with this being my first episode of AI on Air, I wanted to go ahead and talk about it now. I was recently fired from my job. I don't know. I personally think that I left. You'll understand why I say that later. I feel as if I left. I didn't put in my 2 weeks, but like I definitely walked out and did not plan to come back. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even to me. It wasn't even like oh you were fired kind of situation. But before I get into that, make sure you go down there, you hit that like button, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you go visit my other videos. All of these videos that I do in the future, all of my like little podcast style videos, they're all gonna be available on your friendly neighborhood AI, my main platform. So make sure you go visit those, and then you also come back to see these if you just like hearing the voice. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know who will want to sit and listen to my voice, but we gonna see it. Anyways, so let me start from the beginning. In the beginning, God made the heavens and earth. No, I was working on this day, right? And I was already irritated. I am a host at a restaurant. Oh, well, previously I was a host at a restaurant. And so with that being said, I was a bit irritated with my other coworker, my fellow host. Now, for the sake of the story, we're gonna call her the baddest. The baddest is just that, the baddest. I do believe that me and her, and also my friend Liam, I'm not gonna say her name either. We're gonna call her Liam. Me, the baddest, and Liam are definitely like the best hosts that they had. Going with me. Oh, Lord, not me saying her name already. Me, the baddest, and Liam. That's just my opinion though. But you know what I'm saying. Anyways, so I'm working on this day, and me and the baddest usually work together really, 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 really well. But on this day, on this day, she had made me real mad. She had pissed me off real bad, and so I had given a server an extra table. The servers are only supposed to have 5 tables to a section. It's like a rule. We're supposed to follow the rules. Understandable, cool. But it's a rule that we kind of break often. You ain't hear that from me, but it's a rule that we do kind of break often because if we're on a busy night and a server has 5 tables, but they're like, hey, I can do another one if you need. We're gonna do that because we don't need to have these people sitting in the lobby for over the quoted time when I can just seat them with the server and then they get good service from the server that we sat them with because they literally said like, hey, I'm bored, I can do it. You know what I'm saying? And so on this day, we were about to be on a wait that we didn't really need to be on, respectfully to the baddest. If you listen to this right now, I do feel as if we did not need to be on a wait at that time because we had so many open fucking tables. Excuse my language. This is explicit. Don't let your kids watch it. Hide your money, y'all. It's poor people around. And so on this day, we were about to be on a wait that I didn't feel like we needed to be on. You know what I'm saying? And so I asked the server. I was like, "Hey, do you think you could take this table? I know you already have 5, but I do think you could take this table." It was something I did like often. Like I was real cool with a lot of the servers, so they felt comfortable telling me like, "Hey, yeah, I can take it. Yeah, I can't take it. Give it to somebody else, whatever the case may be." So I was always in what's the word in communication. There we go. I was always in communication with the servers about extra tables, maybe less tables, no tables, whatever the case may be, because I do feel like that's my responsibility as a host to like know when I'm overdoing it with the servers. And so I asked this server, I was like, we're gonna call him Hollister Boy. I asked Hollister Boy, I was like, hey, do you think you can take this table? Um, was it outside or inside? I think this was inside, and like it was just right next to his section. Actually, no, I think it was actually a part of his section. The stupid fucking thing is, the servers yes can only have 5 tables, but sometimes they'll get a 6 table section. And so he had a 6 table section, so I was like, hey, do you mind just like taking this one last table, because 2 of his tables were already about to leave anyway. So it was like he only gonna have 6 tables for maybe 5-10 minutes, but even if he had 6 tables for more than that, Hollister Boy isn't like a horrible server in my personal opinion. Like he'll be fine. Like he'll be alright. So I seat the table, and I go back to the front, and the baddest is like, why did you just give him that table? Now he has 6. And I was like, well, I asked him about it. He said, oh, he'll be fine. He said it would be cool. So, it's not really that big of a deal. And then we also still got more people in here that we need to sit. So it was like, I might as well at least get one of these parties off the list because we just had upper management tell us that we don't need to be overquoting people. We don't need to be having people sit in the lobby for, an extra long amount of time when we have open tables. It looks bad on us. And so she was like, well, that doesn't really matter because he now has 6 tables and they're only supposed to have 5. And I was like, okay, well, now we have 6. She was like, but he's supposed to have 5. Okay, well, now we have 6. But he's supposed to have 5. Okay, well, now we have 6. Now he has 6 fucking tables. And if you ask me, that irritated me because it's like, you're not finna get nowhere with me because it's not that big of a deal. I don't care. Genuinely, I don't. Like, if you want to go and give the table to somebody else, you go do that. It's not that serious. It's trust me, it's never that serious. And so she walks off. She's like, okay, well, you know what? You handle this since you got it. That's not what she said. But like, she was like, you handle it since you know so fucking much. Since you got your fucking degree and you know every fucking thing. You handle it, and I'm gonna go do something else. She went to like expo, I believe. And so I sat the next couple tables. Fast forward, me and her not really talking because like she got a little beside herself. She get a little attitude when she get mad, when she get stressed, or when she start to panic a little bit when shit don't go her way. Not in like a control freak kind of way, like hungry for power. Like she not that kind of bitch, but when stuff like definitely goes like the way she like didn't like plan it out in her head, she might be autistic. I ain't gonna lie, and that will make us even closer because I'm also autistic. We be autistic brothers and sisters. Um, when stuff don't go her way, it's like she'll immediately shut down, and it's like I don't know if it's like out of fear of like if it goes wrong, then it's gonna reflect badly on her. But it's like I always try to reassure her that like not only are we able to make mistakes, but like you don't honestly like both me and you like we rarely ever make mistakes when it comes to this whole hosting shit. So it's like when we do stuff that's maybe outside of the box or maybe that like we're quote unquote not supposed to do because let's be for real, rules are made to be broken. I don't actually believe that, but like just in terms of this, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? When we do stuff that's maybe outside of the box, it never goes wrong because we know what we're doing. I know what I'm doing. You know what you're doing. And the last time you sat somebody that already had 6 tables, you gave them a 7th table, you said it was fine, and they'll just be all right. So I'm confused as to why it's like such a big thing when I do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm a little irritated. I ain't gonna lie. She I guess is expecting me not to be irritated. I don't know what it was because she was still trying to talk to me, and then she got to the point where she was just like, "Oh, okay," like realizing that like, girl, I'm not talking to you right now. You my bitch, but like, I'm not talking to you right now. I'm a little irritated. I don't like the way you just spoke to me. It was unnecessary, and like I feel like you hikey just had a little tantrum. So like, we not on good terms currently right now. You know what I'm saying? So she walks off. She walks back to the back, and I'm still doing my thing at the front. Now big old motherfucking tire built ass bitch. Excuse my language, but we gonna call her. We gonna call this lady. We gonna call her. Um, we gonna call her Lazy Susan. Yeah, we gonna call her Lazy Susan. Lazy Susan rolls in, wobbles in with the same motherfucking slick back, same motherfucking tank top and pants from the last time that she visited, looking like a homeless bitch. That's why I didn't know who she was the first time that she came in. I thought she was walking in looking for spare change. But that's besides the point. She slides on in. Don't speak to nobody. Don't introduce herself to nobody. Nothing. She just immediately gets to work. This need to be fixed. This need to be handled. We don't need to keep doing this. Why are we doing this? Why does this look like that? So this is the second time this lady has visited since I have been there. Now it came to my attention when she came the first time that she comes all the time, and whenever she does, she gives everybody hell. So nobody likes her. So it was one of those things where it's like, don't nobody like this fool, but nobody will say anything either. It's just like we all are aware that we don't like her and we talk about her, but nobody has ever actually told her to her face, girl, let me tell you some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about in it. And so on that didn't even make sense. But on this specific night, this was the second time that she was here. And so she comes in, like I said, she just immediately gets to work and then she eventually comes back up to the baddest and she, talking to her like I'm not there, like I'm not present. So she's talking to her, chopping it up with her, and she's about to walk by me, I guess, to go back to the back for something. And I say, hello. And she's like, hey, now again, this is an upper management. This ain't even like, general manager and then you have like the team lead managers. Like, no. This is an upper management that bounces back and forth from like restaurant to restaurant, making sure that everything is, kept together and that kind of thing. So she's like, I won't say she's one of the faces of the brand, but she definitely is like upper in the brand. And so for you to be somebody that's upper in the brand, you got an attitude, lady. It's giving Pinocchio, got a whole stick up your ass. You know what I'm saying? And so she's walking past me, and I'm like, "Hello." And she's like, "Hey," disrespectful, but I clocked it. But I was like, "Cool, whatever. I'm gonna leave it alone. It is what it is. I'm already irritated with the baddest. I don't like. I just don't want it to be that kind of night. You know what I'm saying?" So she walks off. Yeah. Oh goodness, me and the baddest are somewhat talking again. It's coming back down. Like it's been a couple hours since the initial incident. So me and her are like somewhat getting good again. We talking somewhat. I'm being a little picky and being a little bitchy with her, but like we still like are talking. Fast forward to when the baddest asked me to sit at a table outside because this particular night she had the tablet. She was responsible for doing the greeting and assigning wait lists and notifying parties and things of that nature because they want us to have, or they wanted us to have, because I'm no longer employed there. They wanted us to have positions, and so she was, like I said, she was the greeter, she was the that kind of person, and then I was the person that was responsible for walking people back and forth to the tables. So one this night, I see somebody outside. We gonna call him. We gonna call him. We gonna call him my man. We gonna call him. We gonna call him my man. So the baddest asked me to see my man out. the, sorry, sits in the chair and tells him it's Easter. The baddest asked me to sit my man outside, and so I go and I seat the table, and he's like, "Hey, I don't think I'm gonna be able to take that because I haven't even been able to greet the last table that y'all just sat me not too long ago because I'm working with this party. I'm working on stuff with the other servers, and I'm still trying to pull food and expo. And then like another one of my tables also complaining about how long the food is taking and saying that like the food that they have is cold. So I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. Like, and our management wants the service to greet the tables within like I think it was 90 seconds. So that's what like a minute and 30, minute 20, minute something like that. I'm not too good at math. um, and so he's like, I'm not gonna be able to like greet them in that time, and I also wouldn't really be able to give them like upper echelon service because I have so much going on right now. It's like I just can't. So I'm like, cool, like I got you, baby. So I go back to the front and I told the baddest, I'm like, well, no, actually, I'm lying. So I'm walking back, and that's when Lazy Susan, she comes up to me and she's like, hey, let's also make sure, but I'm still walking because I'm expecting us to walk and talk because we're both adults, not, I'm not in fucking preschool. She stops me from walking. She's like, hey, let's stop walking because I'm talking to you. So now I'm back to being irritated because you no, you're not talking to me actually. you're you're actually not talking to me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? But I stopped anyway, and I was like, "Yes, how can I help you?" Like, what? Ho. She's like, when we're walking tables back, let's make sure that we let them sit down first, and then we give them the menus, each one individually. Doesn't matter how many people are at the party each time. Okay, cool. I then start walking away because it's just silence now. Nothing was said. You heard how awkward that silence was? Yeah, I wasn't finna sit in that. So I start walking off because I'm thinking that she's done. And then she stops me again. Hey, and also, when we're taking tables back, let's also make sure that we're not just walking away. Let's make sure that we're walking with them and that we're engaging with them. Da da da. And this is something that I actually have been told before, and I let my actual management know that like it was something that I definitely would like try to work on, but I'm huge. Okay? I am huge and a bit awkward. And so with that being said, like I will 100% engage with a customer if they start talking to me. You know, if they ask me like, "Hey, how's your day going?" or like, "What's something that you're looking for on the menu?" or you know, like, "What's your favorite thing on the menu?" I mean, I will definitely respond. Like, we'll have a whole conversation on the way back. However, it is sometimes difficult for me to be leading the customer. Like, it's different when I'm walking like side by side with somebody. That's why I said like with Lazy Susan, I thought we was finna walk side by side, so we could have kept walking and talking. But with a customer, it's different because when you're leading the guest back to the table, you're doing just that. You're leading them. You're not walking side by side with them. You're standing in front of them and then, trying to look back and forth, trying to talk to them. And like I said, I'm huge. So the walkway is only so big for me to be able to be walking these people back to their table and also trying to turn around, break my neck, and be talking to them about how Bill and the kids is doing. So I'm walking them back. Or no, she had an issue with that, the way that I was walking the people back. And so, I told her, I was like, okay, cool, got it. But apparently she didn't hear me because when I started to walk away again, she was like, "Can I get a herd? Can I get an okay? Okay? Can I get an okay? Like are we 12? Are we no like no, are we actually 12 years old? Are we actually 12 like is I'm confused. Because even if you didn't hear me say okay, a simple, "Hey, did you hear me?" would have been fine. Like again, the verbiage is extremely important, especially when you're talking to a bitch like me. Simple, "Hey, like, did you hear me? You didn't. Hey, did you get it? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been fine. Then, can I get an okay? Can I get a hurt? Can I?" That's childish, and it's disrespectful and it's condescending. It's like talking like it's like making it seem like you're talking to a child. When you're disciplining a child, right? And then you can tell that they're mad, and then you say like, "Okay, can I get an okay? Can I get an okay, hun?" Like, I'm not a fucking child. And on top of that, I said okay. I said okay. You just didn't hear me. And even I honestly, a part of my spirits, because I have discernment. Praise be to God. A part of me really thinks that she heard me say okay, and she just actually wanted me to say some shit like "yes, ma'am" or "yes, I got you," or like she wanted me to show her some kind of like extra respect that she had never shown me. In my personal opinion, like, respect is earned and given. And so when it comes to management, like, working under somebody in a restaurant, I'm not saying that you have to be like, the nicest person to me, and like, you're gonna respect me, like, "You're gonna love me." No, like, you don't have to like completely like respect me, like, because at the end of the day, I am just a worker to you, regardless of if you say that I'm not, regardless of if you say, "Oh, we're family, we are a family," and we all get along and we all know. At the end of the day, I am another worker to you. You don't know nothing about me and you don't care to know anything about me. And so with that being said, all you have to do for me, but like, you just don't have to talk to me disrespectfully. You can dislike me. You can see me as just another worker, and you can say like, "You're gonna do what I'm telling you to do." Cool, fine. I kind of do have to do that because you are management. But what you will not do is go and extend that respect that I have for you and start going all willy nilly and talking to me any kind of way. No, that's not gonna happen. And so I walk off and I walk back to the front. Attitude. No, I walk off. No. I walked back up to the front and I was starting to tell the baddest, because remember, like I said, she had me seat my man outside, and then he said he couldn't take the table. So I went back and I'm telling the baddest, I'm like, "Hey, my man said he's not gonna be able to take that table." So I went ahead and I gave it to Hollister boy, because I asked before the table was sat, because in the middle of her telling me, "Hey, I need you to seat this table outside," I went ahead and I asked the, what we gonna another one of my managers. We gonna call him the rapper. I went ahead and I asked the rapper. I was like, "Hey, my man said that he not gonna be able to take this table, so I was just gonna give it to Hollister boy, who's like right next to him. Is that okay?" He said, "My man should be able to take it, but if he can't, whatever, just give it. Yeah, just give it to Hollister boy." So before Lazy Susan stopped me in the middle of the walkway, that was when I asked. That was when I asked the rapper if I could give the table to Hollister boy. So timeline: the baddest asked me to seat the table outside. I seat the table outside. My man says he can't take it. I asked the rapper, "Hey, can Hollister boy take this table?" He says yes. Then Lazy Susan stops me on the way back. Now I'm back at the front telling the baddest that I gave the table to Hollis the boy. We all together. Okay. You see me? We see each other. So I'm telling her, I'm like, hey, my man said he's not gonna be able to take that table, so I went ahead and I gave it to Hollister boy. And she's like, well, I don't. Why? Because he only has like two tables, so I'm not understanding why he can't take it. And I was like, well, to be honest, he didn't want the last table that we sat before that one. But it wasn't nothing that I could really do about it. Like, you, the one that's asking me to see them, so I'm assuming that you know what you're doing. She's like, okay, well, I don't know, like, that's just weird to me, but whatever, it's not a big of a deal. And I was like, okay, cool, it's not a big of a deal, because like I said, we talking, but it's like, bitch, I'm still upset with you, and she's still reading that I'm upset with her, so she trying not to text me no more out of respect for me, and then I'm also still trying to be somewhat nice to her out of respect for her as well. And so I think what happened was Lazy Susan picked up on the fact that I was being bitchy at the baddest and felt the need to come and try to like protect her. Because she then turns to me and she's like, well, actually, it is that big of a deal because she gave you an option. I mean, she gave you an order and you just came back and said that you basically didn't fulfill that. First of all, ho, the baddest ain't give me no kind of order. Baby, I'm not a takeout specialist. I'm not on to go right now. She ain't give me no kind of order and I'm not a server either. So I don't know what order you talking about. She's not management. So again, what order are you? I'm you talking about order of service? I don't understand. But I ain't saying nothing. I ain't saying nothing. I said woosah, woosah. Well, like I just said to the baddest, I am only communicating the message that was given to me. That was given, excuse me, that was given to me. He said he can't take the table, so I gave it to somebody else because, I mean, at the end of the day, do you want me to just let the table sit there and just like, or like or do you want me to be efficient, which is again my job? So she's like, well, servers actually aren't able to even tell you that they don't want to take a table or that they can't take a table. And I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, which I know this already, I've heard this 1,000 times hosting, because again, I am not a worker to you. I am just another, excuse me, you don't care about me. I'm just another worker to you. And so when people say that whole like, oh, well, servers can't tell you no, and servers don't get to say they can't take a table, I immediately stop listening because that's weird. Now, when a server is, and this is again coming with the whole, like I said before, about having a relationship with your coworkers and with your servers as a host, because I can tell when a server is saying, I don't want a table because I just don't feel like taking it, like I'm ready to go, or I'm having a bad day, I ain't made no money, whatever the case may be. And then that's when, the whole like, well, you kind of can't tell me no. I don't say that, but I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna give them like 2 or 3 minutes, and then I'll see them, and then I'll get them waters and stuff like that started. Like, meeting them halfway, because again, we're human, so we get angry, we get anxious, we get tired, all that kind of stuff. So even with that, when I can tell that they're being lazy, I'll still meet them halfway because you're a human being, and whatever the case may be, you're like your opinion is valid. And I can tell that versus when a server is actually just stressed out and overwhelmed at the moment. So it doesn't even fucking make sense for me to try to seat them again because that's just gonna make them more and more upset, which is gonna cause their service to fall. It's gonna cause their service. I was looking for a specific word. It's gonna cause their service to uh, plumb. I can't think of the word. Whatever. But it's gonna cause their service to get bad. And so it doesn't even make sense for me to seat them again. And this was that kind of scenario. He said that he can't take it because he hasn't even greeted the other one. He's not going to be able to give them good service. So why the fuck would I give him the table anyway? And then I stopped and I was like, okay, well, actually, now I'm thinking about it. You're a manager. So, like, maybe you can go ask him about it, as a manager, or you can maybe go greet the table, whatever. You can go back and help him instead of, asking me the same damn question. I didn't say that, but that was like, the gist of what I said, still more respectful. She still asked me the same damn question. I don't understand why she asked you to do this and you did this, and servers can't tell you this, that, and the third. So I'm answering for like a fourth or fifth time, and now I am getting a little upset, and I think she picked up on the fact that I was now getting upset, and now suddenly she wants me to stop talking. So now I'm like, nah, bitch, you just sat here and you made me mad, Now I'm expressing my anger, and now you want me to stop. Now you want me to be quiet. Nah, baby, that's like the definition of rage bait. That's like she literally rage baited me, and now that I'm thinking about it, like, damn, I got rage baited. Okay, no. So she, she purposely. I feel like she purposely like started pushing my buttons, just purposely started irritating me, and then the moment I actually like for real got irritated, that's when she started being like, "No, I actually don't need to hear anything else from you. You can stop talking. You don't need to talk no more." Now putting her hands in my face, essentially telling me to shut the fuck up. Again, excuse my language. I apologize. But like that's really what she was telling me to do without saying it, and I wasn't having it. So I told her, I was like, listen, you asked me a question and I'm now answering a question. Just because you don't like my answer, that doesn't mean that you get to start talking over me. And like I said, in the middle of me saying all this, she's still telling me to stop talking. You need to stop talking. I'm talking now. I'm the one that's speaking. I have the floor. No, I tried to give you the floor and you kept asking me the same shit. You clearly ain't got nothing good to say. So shut up. Now, eventually she just tells me, you just need to pack your stuff and you just need to go ahead and go home. So I'm like, okay, deuces, deuces. And I got my stuff and I'm about to start walking away. And as I think she saw that like she got that little rise out of me and I told her off a little bit and then I was finna just go home. I think she saw and felt that like I genuinely was still somewhat unbothered by this lady. And so she's like, oh, and by the way, we'll call you tomorrow about your position. And I was like, oh, girl, let me. So I grab my bag and I walk around and I'm looking for the rapper because previously we had a conversation. I told him, I was like, listen, some shit is about to shake in this restaurant and I'm already knowing it because at the previous restaurant that I worked at, the same stuff was happening. We had hosts leaving, servers leaving, cooks getting fired, new management that was wanting this, that, and the third. We had customers that had started just random customers that just had started coming in and having an issue with this, that, and the third and lying on different servers, bartenders, hosts, like whatever. And it just created a hellish experience for everybody that worked at my previous job. And it was like that for about 4 or 5 months. And I told him, I was like, listen, if I can already tell that this same thing is going to happen to y'all somehow. Maybe it's me. It's me. Hi. I'm the problem. Okay. Maybe it's me. So I was like, like, do you think I should stay? Or do you think I should, like, just go ahead and put in my 2 weeks and, just go ahead and bow out gracefully? Because you know how I get down. Because he had seen me yell at a lady before because she was getting on my nerves. She disrespected me as well. And then she also tried to make it seem like it was like 100% my fault. Like she started lying to the rapper while I was like literally standing next to her, and I don't lie. I hate when people lie, and so I did kind of yell at this lady. And I was like, okay, but do you want to be sad or no? Okay, but do you want to be sad or no? Okay, but do you want to be sad or no? You gonna sit down? You gonna sit down? Or you gonna finna keep talking? You finna keep talking? Okay, so you gonna keep talking? So like I'm gonna go ahead and do what I gotta. It was one of those situations. Again, I didn't cuss this lady out, but I definitely get a little. It was a little. It was a little heated. You know what I'm saying? And so I told him, I was like, you've seen how I get when people irritate me, when people push my buttons. Usually I'm real respectful, real calm, very demure. But the moment you push it, like I fear there's no coming back from that for you unless you somebody that I really do fuck with, such as the baddest. And so I asked him, I was like, do you feel like I should stay or do you feel like I should go ahead and bow out and, do something else? And he was like, no, you stay. We really like you. We really think that you could be like useful to the team. And then, we finna have to basically fire half of the restaurant. Cause I told him, I was like, when new management coming in, the stuff that they want, they either gonna have to retrain half the restaurant or they're gonna have to fire half the restaurant. And so he was like, yeah, well, what you just said, like either retraining or, firing half the restaurant, we would love to have you here as like somewhat of an alumni, to be able to either train those people or just work with the new ones. And so I was like, okay, I got you. I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna take your opinion. And he black. I don't want to bring race into it, but like he black, so I was like, I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna take you. You know what I'm saying. And so I stayed. Now fast forward back again to this night with Lazy Susan, telling me that she was gonna call me about my job, and so I walked off and I found the rapper, and I was like, listen, don't even worry about calling me no more. This is why I say that I do feel like I wasn't fired. I walked out because when she told me to grab my stuff, and then was like, oh, well, we'll call you about your job. I went over and I went to the rapper and I was like, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about calling me. Don't worry about texting me. Don't worry about my job because I'm not coming back anyway. Because I told you this was gonna happen, and I told you I wasn't effing with it. I don't know why I'm not cursing now, but I was like, I'm not effing with it, and I said the actual word. And so at that point, Lazy Susan steps in between me and the rapper, and is now like, you need to leave right now, and I'm gonna call the police because you're not trespassing. And I said, girl, come here. Come closer, right here. Call the police, girl. Call the police. Call the popo. Because what the police gonna do? What is, because if we're being for real, like I said, I really walked out. You really haven't even fired me, and you just said that you haven't fired me because you want to call me tomorrow about my position. So I'm not fired. I have technically walked out. I'm not trespassing on shit, and I'm not being aggressive. I haven't cussed nobody out. I haven't made no threats. I'm now having a conversation that didn't have nothing to do with you. I'm done with you. And I said what I need to say to you. Get the fuck out of my face. I'm now talking to the rapper, and you have now inserted yourself into my conversation again. I wasn't talking to you. I almost say his name, but the rapper wasn't threatened at all by me. You could tell in his face he was completely open to what I was saying because he knew what I said was right. So what the police gonna do? And so the rapper was like, LeBron, like, it's fine, like, don't worry about it. And I was like, no, because she does it the same thing over there. I was done talking, I was being respectful, and you still trying to insert yourself into my business. You don't get to talk over me. You don't, like, no. And I'm getting mad again. I'm yelling at my mic right now. Ain't nobody even in this room. I'm an adult. I need to calm down. um, yeah, I was a little loud. And I really hope my mic isn't peaking right now. That would be really embarrassing. But anyways, the rapper walks me outside and he's like, "Listen, bro, just take a night. We had a conversation. I ain't gonna say everything that was said in the conversation because that's my business." Okay. He was just like, take a night, take the night, because I really don't want you to like leave. I don't want you to lose your position. Like we really like you, like genuinely, and we like having you here. So just take the night, and we'll call you or you call back in the morning and just try to apologize, smooth it over. And at that point, that's when I knew. I was like, I'm definitely not coming back, because did you not just hear this lady say she was going to call the police on me for having a conversation? Why would I even want to come back? One, and two, you want me to apologize to her? Like now, like black men and black men, again, I don't want to bring race into it, but like this lady just threatened to call the police on a 6'5", 250 something pound feminine black man. Do you realize, like, I said what the police gonna do, but like, do you know what the police would have done? Do you know what the police actually might have done had she actually called them and they actually like showed up to come and get me? Like, it would have either went two ways. It would have either been like, I clearly am not a threat to anybody, and you just called the police on this boy because you was irritated, or I would have been on a t-shirt. Two ways, no in between. And so, you saying that you want me to apologize to her, it's like, yeah, no, I'm definitely not coming back now, because you don't even have, no backbone to try to go back there and stand up for me. Like, I shouldn't have reacted the way that I reacted. True. But first of all, she lucky I ain't slap her ass. I don't put my hands on women, but she real lucky I ain't give her a two-piece like that lady in the blue dress that was questioning that other lady about abortion. That's really how that conversation went. I ain't even gonna lie. Like, and I was really getting to that point. Anyways, you don't even have the backbone to go inside and be like, hey, like, you didn't have to speak to him like that either. You also didn't call the police on him. Like, that boy, I'm 19. So, like, you going back and being like, hey, like, that boy is 19. Like, you don't, like, that's, at the end of the day, like, that's still a child. Like, in my opinion, like, I don't consider myself to be, like, a grown man. Like, I say I'm grown. I say I'm an adult because legally I am. But, like, I'm really just a girl. Like, you will not hear me, like, actually, like, literally fully call myself, like, an adult for a little minute, because, like, that just sounds way too serious for me. I'm gonna be 20 years old in December. That no, for all I'm concerned, I'm young and turned. Okay, how about that? So I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not coming back. But I was grateful for the position, and I was grateful for the opportunities that I was given. But it's definitely time for me to move on because I wanted to quit before this happened, and you expect me to stay now that this has happened? Like, no, like, you cool, and I really like you, and I wish you the best, but no, it's gonna be a no for me. And so, I called a cab. I called a cab. When I whistled, I said, and Lorenzo came and picked me up from Lyft, and I went on home. And yeah, now I'm back on the job market. I done had a couple interviews since then. Um, some of them are very promising. One of them, I actually think they hired me. I ain't even gonna lie, because they asked me to. They looked at my resume and my application, and then they called me and was like, "Hey, we want to schedule an interview. Make sure you bring identification. Make sure you bring your like birth certificate and your social security, all that kind of stuff." So it sounded like they already have made the decision to hire me. They just want to like get a face and a personality, and then like they'll just go ahead and take my information down, which is great. And so yeah, that's my current predicament. Um, it really bothers me when people have this mentality of like, oh, like just deal with it because they're upper management, or just deal with it because this can happen. And no, I hate that mentality, and I hate people that feel like they have to go through that. Like, I dealt with a lot with growing up with my parents. And so I was told that by a lot of people, like, oh, like, don't worry about it. Like, you can't say anything because that's your mom, and you can't say anything because that's your dad. And, like, it's fine because you only got to go through it for this little bit amount of time, and you can graduate, and you can, go to college. And it got to the point where that literally was the only reason that I wanted to go to college. I know why I wanted to go to college. I just wanted to go to a dorm so I can get away from these people. Now I would like to go back to college for psychology and interior decorating. But at the time, I didn't even know what I wanted to do like after I graduated. It was just I need to get away. And so now, like I said, when people tell me stuff like, "Oh, well, it's fine, like that's just how it is and I just kind of got to deal with it," or like you just kind of got to deal with it, like she no. No, 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 no. Like no. It's too many jobs on the planet Earth. And I told Chance that. I told the rapper that. I was like, I can get another job. I can walk down the street and apply for something and get hired in maybe 2 3 weeks, or I can be out of a job for 2 3 months. Regardless, I will get hired somewhere else because there's too many jobs out there, and I have too much experience, and I'm too bad of a bitch. I can get another job, but I didn't really want to. I wanted y'all to straighten up. I wanted y'all to start acting right, and I wanted management to do what they need to do. I wanted the servers to do what they need to do because, all in all, it wasn't that bad of a work environment and experience. Everybody in the bitch was just stupid and aggravating. But it is what it is. I stood up for what I needed to do, and I stood up for a couple other people as well. To the point where, like, I came back a couple days ago to just get some stuff straight because I also was hearing some things that didn't happen, and so I had to set some shit straight. But I went up in there the other day, and I came in, and literally the workers started clapping for me. Like, they gave me a, like a little silent ovation. Like, as much as they could, because again, like I said, nobody liked this lady, and it just kind of took me saying something, even though I lost my job. But it everybody felt a lot better after I left that night, or that's what I was told at least. Everybody was feeling more, not necessarily empowered, but empowered, because leave it to black people, carrying the motherfucking country on our shoulders, liberating and freeing the people to freedom. But anyways, if you guys enjoyed this story, I don't really know how to close this. Story's over. The book is closed. The library is open. No, I don't really know how to end this, but this felt really good to get off my chest. I know that. This was honestly kind of therapeutic. I talk to myself a lot, and I do mean a lot, but I don't know. It feels nice to have it like documented, and I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna love looking back at these in the next couple of years. Cause like I just said earlier, I'm only 19. I'm young in term. I'm the baddest bitch. You know what I'm saying? But like when I turn 20, and then I'll be 21 and 22 and 23, that's not even like hitting my 30s. Like eventually I'm gonna get in my 30s and be like, I'm gonna look back at these little podcast episodes or like even my regular videos and be like, what the hell was I on back then? You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I'll go back and wish I did some things different. Or maybe when I get older, I'll be like, yeah, Was that bitch, still that bitch. Been that bitch, still that bitch, will forever be that bitch. Ah. But no, if you guys enjoyed this, definitely make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. This was nice, and I look forward to doing it again. Um, this has been AI on air. I'm coining that. I actually really like that name for these, little episodes and little series. And yeah, wish me luck finding another job. Wish me luck finding another job, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.